First, let's get on the God. It's a blessing to be here and thank Mayor Mike Long for coming. Yay. Give him a hand. And also my colleagues from the north side, Alan Magoo, thank you for coming. And I see Chris Lewis, my CPC back there. Make sure I thank for Chris.
And Renee Hammond.
Renee Hammond. Okay, Renee, thank you, Renee, for putting it together. Okay, why we come today? Why are we here? Very simple. District 8 is the best place to live in the entire city. The reason why I know that, in 2010, the census, we outgrew the city that was 2-to-1 in population. 2-to-1. District 8 outgrew the entire city 2-to-1 in population. 2-to-1. So that goes to show people moving. And before I get started, you know, some housekeeping, you know, we're going to be very precise. Mayor and myself, we're going to let you know how great District 8 is all about. Before I got to welcome here, Dr. Lund is not going to be here, but Dr. Monica Williams, President of University Advancement and President of UNT Dallas Foundation. Where is she?
Right here.
Right there. Come
on. Good evening and welcome to UNT Dallas. We're so glad that you're here and so glad that you are here, Mayor Rawlings. Councilman Atkins, you have been an amazing friend to the university, and we're just grateful that you include us every time you come out here and present. And Bob Mon couldn't be here this evening, but he wanted me to share with you just how pleased he's been with the Grow South initiative and what it's meant for our university and for our students, the university community, and the surrounding area. And we just could not be more pleased. I think I'll just leave you with this because I want to be brief and mindful of the time. But UNT Dallas is now the fastest growing university, not just in the state of Texas, but in the U.S. So,
all right.
So Grow South, that is huge for us, right? That's right in our wheelhouse and right alongside what we're doing every day at this school. As you can see, we're growing, and we have our new flagship building that's coming online in the next few weeks. That is our Student Center, the $63 million flagship. It'll be the one-stop shop. I hope you all will come back. On the 14th of May, we're going to have a little splash and just cut the ribbon to celebrate the opening of the building. And then we'll have a big splash when our students return in the fall. So thank you all for being here. If you get a chance to take a few steps that way, just marvel at it. It is a gorgeous facility, and it is here for you. It's here to serve our students, but it's here to serve the community too. So thank you again for being here, and thank you. Go Trailblazers.
What time on the 14th?
On the 14th, we'll start the tours at 3 p.m. on May 14th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, that slide is a slide that's bringing back memory. The Mayor's Southern Dallas Task Force, we're going to talk about that briefly. And we wonder why we talking about the Southern Dallas Task Force. Back in 2007, 2009, I was Vice Chair of Economic Development, and we were trying to find what can we do different in Southern Dallas? How can we get away from the mess of a Tale of Two Cities? How do we get away from that? We brought together 275 citizens, business, community, leaders, and those leaders were there. 2 of them is now going to sit at council, my colleague, Rick Callahan and Carolyn Arnold. They came from the Southern Dallas Task Force. What did we find out? What did we learn? We learned North and South is different. We learned that if you go north, you see the high rise, you see the restaurants, you see the Bella Quarter Light, you see all the amenities there. You go south, you see all the land, you see the population. but you don't see the property tax growth. You go north, you see 85% of the tax growth, south 14. So the first thing we did, we had to organize. How do we organize a part of the South, which is larger than Atlanta, Georgia? Just imagine, southern part of Dallas is larger than Atlanta, Georgia. And when we did that, we started talking to everyone about how to divide it. So we took our economic development areas, area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we matched those up. And you see there, on the there, you see match. And what we did was something very unusual. We did something called trading place. And my trading place was a person named Linda Koo and Ron Natinsky. And every council member from the South had a member from the North. And we said, what are you doing in your community? Let me know how I can make it work in my community. To do that, it took a whole lot of time and a whole lot of aggression, but the one key subject was no money. It was an idea. It was a task force. We brought all of these studies together under one roof to make sure that we did have the right task to recognize with it. Redbird neighborhood, Southeast. Southeast, Paul Quinn College, you know, Paul Quinn College was going through that transition. You know, they're going to open, they're going to close. Mike Sorrell came with her, did a great deal. He said, hey, let's take the football field and make it a garden. You know, a garden that can feed the Dallas Cowboy, feed the restaurant, do everything that quality of life. And I want to thank Mike Sorrell for doing that and also the job. He turned the school completely around. Paul Quinn College guy. But one thing what Mike did was, he did something completely different. He went out into the community and he asked the community what can they do. And it was a guy by the name of Comica Trail. I don't know if y'all remember Comica Trail.
Yes.
Proline.
And they're gonna move there. He came in there and just dug all the resource and equity he could do. But I also want to thank Helen Getty, the Democratic Party. They raised $1.5 million to save Paul Quinn College. And also the foundation, I think the Mellon Foundation, I'm not for sure, make sure I get it correct, I think it was the Mellon Foundation who put $500,000 in Paul Quinn College to save that university. So I want to thank those people also. Redbird. You look at this picture set, US 67 freeway beautification. What did that mean? That means that we took the part of Southern Dallas in District 8, Simpson Stewart in 45, Bonnet View in 20, Polk in 20, Hampton in 20, and 67 Camp Wilson. What did we do? We call it beachhead, maritime, we get some beachheads, but we made sure they were what? Green space, up drivable appeal. You know, your front yard should be the best part than your backyard, right? You want to manicure your front yard, and that's what we did. That's what we did in all the beachhead in District 8. We call it beautification. And we did that, then it cost us, the taxpayer, any money. We had a grant, a Blue Ribbon grant from the state to invest in that. The next slide over here you look at would be said, ULI Southwest Sun Mall. That's an urban land institution. And that's an organization that came to the city of Dallas, which we did pay them, roughly about $125,000. And what did they do? They came with one reason and said, we got a mall. What are we going to do with it? But what they did, they came to the community. They came to the resident, they came to you and asked you, do we tear it down? Do we build a new mall? What do we do? The community said, you know what? Malls are dead, but what will happen, they're going to take public and private partnership to do it. Public-private partnership to do it. And we said, just make it very simple. He said, just imagine you had a picnic, you're going to a barbecue. You brought the meat in, you left on the grill till it burned up, or you just forgot about it. And that's the mall. And did we forget about the mall? No, we did not forget about the mall. I think Mike gonna talk about the mall later down the road, but this is gonna be a very big asset. It's not a mall, it's a development for the community. Moving forward, District 8, you see Amazon, L'Oreal, Home Depot, Sierra, and Vistaprint come. In 2006, we did something completely different in District 8. We talk about the inland port and how we're going to grow, and how the inland port will grow. And people said, what is the inland port? And he said, what is the economic engine? What drives the city? If you're on the East Coast or West Coast, what drives it is a seaport. If you're inland, what drives the city is aviation, airport. That's what drives, that's the engine that drives the economic engine. But what is the inland port? A guy by the name of Richard Allen came to Dallas and he had a vision. Talking about inland port, inland, to bring international warehouse and trade to this community. We start talking about logistics. And that's why we talk about Paul Quinn College, Cedar Valley, and UNT, because we had someone had to teach logistics. So we make sure that people are job ready. And that's why we are called ourselves the educated corridor here now, with Paul Quinn, Eastfield, and UNT, that we got to work together to make sure we got a higher education in our district. Remember, the better the education, the higher the education, the better quality of life. So we cannot never get enough education. And so that's why we are in the heart of this district with great school. Captain Gill's Prep School. We got great school here in this district. Vistaprint, let everybody know they are coming. And I think Venus Carl right there, right hand of Venus, look at her. And what's going to happen with Venus, their Vistaprint is also that we gave them a tax abatement to train. And remember, Vistaprint is not a warehouse. We always talk about warehouse jobs. This is not warehouse jobs, this is manufacturing jobs. These are $25, $30 an hour job. They're not coming, they're not here yet, but they be here. So they're in the process of getting ready to be trained and ready to come. So make sure you get with Venus and Economic Development and let you know what they are trying to bring here. Okay, everybody know where it is, right? The bus, blue line, the South Cliff Freight line. And I'm going to be brief with this. Now, remember trading place? You know how you trade? There was a colleague by the name of Linda Cooper who was on transportation. She was a chair of transportation. And she was my partner. And she took a ride down here. He said, you know what? Why do the train stop there at Leadville and Lancaster? Why don't go to UNT? It should go to UNT where the students at. And she said, let's work with you. And so we got with Garrison and Dart on. Day before Christmas said, hey, let's come with a plan. And the plan was, we always talk about this downtown, the D2 connection, and we always talk about the Cotton Belt. And what happened, that those two projects was not moving about. There was roughly about $200 million, saving in the bank. And so the first thing we said was, me and Linda, myself, and the community said, go take the money. And so we earmarked $100,000 to get this project started. Now it's complete. Now you see it's a great thing ever happened to UNT. But I want to say one shout out to Lee Jackson. He should have listened to me. We should have brought a UNT right into the campus, not outside the campus, and be a better thing. But they are going to work on trying to find how that line get more close to the campus for the students. But it's something, but it's here. But now we do have a dark rail line go all the way to DFW one transfer. And UNT, Bob Munn always talk about his great university. I still said, hey, I talk about SMU sometime. I said, remember it was Houston School Road, now the University Hill. And I said, really, I want to be University Hill to get a name idea. I learned from Mike, you got to mark your brand. University Hill is just more university, more pleasant to walk uphill. With that, Howland Hills Library. What a fight we had with Howland Hills Library. And that's something that we did. Just off script right now, that Mary Soon was our past city manager, right?
Right.
And where did she come from?
Library.
A library. And what part of town she come from? District 8. Which library? Pope and Camp Wisdom. Y'all didn't know that, right? So that's why she came up, she said, I came from a library, and we're going to build a library without a bond package. Without a bond package. And we build one of the best libraries at Howland Hill that District 8 have ever seen. That one thing we're doing now with our library, we can close our library down and still operate in the community. And that's the thing that we're trying to do with our rec center. You got to be able to use all the amenities that we can with the library. Trinity Forest Golf Course, Brian Nelson. Well, I started, but I didn't open it up. I think Mike will talk about that. But one thing we did, that remember in Pleasant Grove, all the tires were burning for years and years and years and years. And what we need to do to make sure that is a good green space, a good place to go. And I was in Boston, Massachusetts, when a friend of mine by the name of Lee Trevino and SMU, Dr. Turner, and the PGA, the Sevenship Club, you remember the Sevenship Club, the guy wearing red pants and white shirt, you know, then Brian Nelson. And we said, you know what? The Sevenship Club is in Dallas. Why are they over there in Irving doing their work and they charge? AT&T corporate headquarters is in Dallas. Why are they way over there in Irving? SMU is not in Dallas, but I almost said Dallas. They're here. The first team is here. And the city of Dallas here, what we did, we grew a partnership. But the partnership would probably never would have happened, I think, Mike, you know, during the Masters. There was a phone call to the PGA during the Masters. And Mayor Robin called the Masters and said, hey, and they said, if you build it, we will come. If you build it, we will bring the Brian Nelson to here. And a whole lot of people said, well, you know, that's golf. Let me tell you about Las Colinas. When Las Colinas first started, the Brian Nelson was there, and there was a tent. It was nothing else around Las Colinas, nothing. And that's how Las Colinas got started. And we're going to have another Las Colinas out there in Pleasant Grove in District 8 if we just believe in what we're trying to do and just be patient. Okay, Save-A-Lot. Everybody started talking about Save-A-Lot, grocery store. Food desert. Mike Sorrell said, I turn the football field to grow vegetables. Go to the dollar store to buy lunch meat, to buy milk, and buy eggs and bacon at a dollar store. Unbelievable. Yes, we did invest $3 million in the grocery store. That was the best thing to do for the community as a whole. The community deserves best. To do that, since that $3 million investment, we do have a store, a high mark with an Exxon there. We do have a little Caesar pizza place there. We do have a little turn office there. Now I'm trying to get a washateria there. We got a dentist across the street. And we also in the process to do a fish and seafood place right across the street. Paul Quinn College just did a complete demolition across the street from the post office. I sold. I have my community office there. We took an old library, and the old library we demolished. Now we have a community court there. We got spade and noodle there. We got coal there. We got all the amenities that you need. The same amenities you had downtown Dallas, you have in the community. Now, the city of Dallas now work in your community what the city of Dallas should need to be in your community. You do not have to go downtown. You can go to the community office to get the same service. And that office, we have brought many type of services. The city manager been there, Chief Howell been there. You go on and on and on and on. But also, I want to just acknowledge Mr. Kemp there with Save-A-Lot. Raise your hand, Mr. Kemp. And thank you for the beginning. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. now. He's doing a transition. Right now, grocery supplier, one of the big chains, is now going to supply, save a lot. So now he's moving up a little bit, so you got to start crawling first, but the transition coming. We did make a good investment with that. I'm going to bring Mayor Mike Rawlings to go towards the Go South.
All right.
I am tired just listening to all the things you just talked about since 2008. I think that there's a couple of things that I take from listening to Tennell. He's been a coach of mine for a while. And first of all, working hard. You know, not only working hard from kind of his part of his life, but every morning from 5 o'clock till 10 o'clock, he's focused. And second, did you notice how he talked about other people in the city?
Right.
He's always about partnership. You know, how do I partner as opposed to how do I do it alone? And I think that's an important strategy for all of us to take back. Is so many of us are trying to just kind of do it alone, and he understands how to leverage other folks. I have definitely done that since I've started to kind of work on Grow South. Adam McGew was in my office and a partner of mine as we kicked this thing off, and now Vinay is my partner, and it wouldn't happen unless you had people like that. So I think part of being leaders is to unite people and bring them together towards a common goal, and you've been a great example of that. I'm going to be leaving the office of mayor in 55 days, I think.
Wow.
55 days. There's probably some people cheering this Pete. And what I decided to kind of give my 8 years of my life to this city because I've loved it. It's been my place that I've raised my family and my kids, and it's something special because of just over the years. We've got our problems, but I'll tell you, there's something in the water here. To see UNT Dallas, okay, what it is now, and it didn't exist, you know, 10 years ago, okay? I mean, it's just remarkable. It's proof that when we focus together on something, we can create the fastest growing university in the country. And I appreciate everybody being here and being part of this process. I felt that Southern Dallas was being overlooked, and the most important thing I could do was put it front and center in everybody's face, whether you lived in East Dallas or North Dallas or any place, to say, let's think about Southern Dallas. We created this Grow South, and it became a kind of a rallying cry for a lot of folks. Now inside the politics sometimes, there's people that's critical of it, and I can take criticism about this issue or that issue, and we can talk about some of those things. But the most important thing is it is now the #1 thing this city needs to continue to do, is push forward in Southern Dallas. And I hear all the mayoral candidates saying that. So hopefully we're united that however we're going to do it, we're going to keep pushing hard on that. We created kind of 5 accelerators that we felt went across our city in Southern Dallas, that we had to do these things throughout Southern Dallas. We had to strengthen our neighborhoods. We needed to have a culture of clean. You know, I love what Tennell said, that manicured front lawn. That's important for a lot of people. When you don't see it, you know, they kind of drive past, but when they see it, they want to come back to it. That we need to strengthen our schools and the importance of education, because middle-class folks want to be near their schools, and they'll move to places that's happening. There were a lot of myths about Southern Dallas that we had to debunk. And then lastly, there was this notion that we didn't have in capital to invest in Southern Dallas. I'm not talking about city money, I'm talking about private money. Because the only way you do these projects is to bring private money and government funding. And partnering together, that's what happens. We needed to organize around that. So we went about it, and we decided to focus hard on each one of these. I'll tell you, one of the most fun things I did was focusing on strengthening neighborhoods. And starting right here, we hired a lot of Vista folks, and they were headquartered right here at the University of Dallas, in North Texas in Dallas. And we were able to line them up, and they went out and they organized neighborhood groups. One of the things that you're talking about, the difference between North and Dallas and Southern Dallas, was they had about twice as many neighborhood groups as folks in Southern Dallas had. And folks in Southern Dallas wanted to have them, they just didn't know how to get them organized. So we've started them, and we've created about 20 new ones in this time, 2 just this last year. And I think it's making a huge difference. We've been able to just map this area. I mean, there's a lot of area that people didn't understand, and branding it in different neighborhoods. And I've always thought that University Hills is a great way to kind of think about this. We created grant recipients, neighborhood groups that applied for you know, a couple $1,000s for street signs or for beautification projects. And we were able to have 4 of those challenge groups come here to District 8. And then we, very importantly at Redbird, we created a community engagement center, and that helped so many people to have a place to go throughout Dallas. On the Culture Clean part, Culture Clean part, we really went about, I think, demolishing a lot of rat traps in this city. And there's a debate. I don't think anybody likes tearing an old home down, but when you couldn't find the owner of it, you couldn't find who had the lien on this thing, and nobody was taking care of it, and you weren't able to put the money into it, they needed to be gone. And so we were able to demolish 183 homes. And that made a big difference, because I'll put some of our parts of our city that are not as wealthy against other parts of other cities that are in that same situation, and we just look better there. And we're making sure that we've got the code focus that we need to have in that area. Strengthening schools, first of all, let's just talk about District 8. This is a wonderful place for education. I love what you said. I mean, we can't ever get enough education. And I don't care if you're on the DISD Board of Trustees, or you're a preacher, or a politician, or anybody. We all have to be rooting for our schools and making sure that we do as good as we can. And we have. I think our school system is doing much better. It's actually being used as the model now in Austin, to say how we can change the trajectory of our schools. So whether you're at a 3rd grade reading, or 5th grade math, or 8th or 9th grade tests, we're seeing a tremendous growth. Here in town, I mean, here in this district, we've got P-Tech schools and collegiate academies at Wilmer Hutchins, at Carter, and Catherine Gillen. And what basically that means is this, that kids can go there as a freshman and get 2 years, if they work hard. This is all about working, boy. Nothing comes free in this world. But if you work hard, you come out with an associate degree in that same period of time. And a company comes in, fosters that school, and allows folks to come work at that company when they graduate. So you can see how our system's starting to work for our citizens in a much better way. On the debunking myths, a lot of that is just about branding. talk a lot about public safety, and we still have a long way to go, but it's safer to be in District 8 than it's ever been in the last 15 years.
Wow.
It is a remarkable thing, and this year we've had a little hiccup in the city in aggravated assaults in the first couple of months, and we don't know exactly why. There may be some gang activity. We kind of push that down, and we're going to push it down again. But I think overall, it's a safer environment to be in. And then we just need to brand this thing. And branding at the education quarter, people go, wow, what's that? I didn't know you had something like that down there. Well, sure enough, we got it. Between Paul Quinn and University of North Texas in Dallas and Catherine Gillum and all the schools that are happening here, we are seeing tremendous growth. And then lastly is that private investment fund. We were able to raise $38 million of private money, okay, to be put into this fund. I went around, Tennell talked to these folks as well, and we said, this is not a charity case, this is an investment opportunity. We don't want any handouts. We want you to bring your capital here, and we think you can make money off of it. Because the problem is, the capital wasn't there. Now, the promise was that we had them, we said that we would, or not we, because we were at the city, but the fund and the board of directors, which Pastor Carter is the chairman of that organization, would return about 11 or 12% return every year. So you get, you give me $10, I'll give you $1 back. You know, $1.11 back every year. And the great news is we put that to work, and Redbird is the first major investment that group made along with the city. We'll talk about Redbird in a second. What's amazing though, and we've always talked about redlining, okay, and people are not investing in this. What we found was that money that was being priced at 11, 12% is now more expensive. There are other institutions coming in and are going to do it for cheaper, for 8 or 9%. Why is that? Because they think they can get the return. It's a safer bet. Their perception has changed. People aren't running away from Southern Dallas anymore. Right. They're focused on Southern Dallas and the money that we're investing in this thing. So you can see the momentum taking place on the fiduciary side and the financial side. They're saying this is going to be a good investment. And that kind of is one of the things that I think is so important. So as we look closer at the areas in Southern Dallas, we've really focused here on District 8, is really Education Corridor and Redbird. Now, what I didn't realize is how good we were at selling businesses to come, and that whole area in the inland port has been one of the hottest growth areas right beneath that education corridor in the whole city of Dallas. You saw the brands that were up there. There were Home Depot, Amazon, Vistaprint, Serta, L'Oreal. Those are big name companies that search all over the country for the best place to invest their capital, and they chose us. And it's created a tremendous amount of jobs. In fact, one of the issues I think we've got is really the public transportation connecting people to those jobs now. Because we don't have a DART line running right there. We have to figure out how we get those folks to work. Somebody was telling me the other day that they're living up here in this area, and they just feel the pressure, good pressure, coming from the south. People are wanting to live inside of I-20 now versus outside of I-20. Okay, Vinay moved. After I busted her chops a few times. She finally did that. Okay. And then you got it moving from downtown here, so you see how the the business momentum kind of picks up. In that area, besides the wonderful golf course that Tennell's talked about, right next to it is the AT&T Trail in the Great Trinity Forest. If you haven't taken your dog or just walked or taken a bike there, drive over there and go through it. It is just fabulous. Get your walking, and now's the great time to do it. You feel like you're back in nature. In fact, today I was very, very pleased that in the quality of life we started a process to take a big part of District 8, which is the Trinity Forest, and put an overlay on this that will always be able to keep that. One of the great things in American history is what Teddy Roosevelt did with our wilderness areas to make sure that they never were encroached on. And as much as development is going, we don't want that forest to be, we want to protect that forest.
That's right.
And we really do. It's going to be something for the generations. And so today I was so pleased to get that briefing, and we're going to be voting on that shortly to make sure that we'll always have that coming into the coming decades. We had a recycling facility open in that area. We created our first TIF down here. The University TIF was approved, which makes a big difference. And just having students on this campus, I mean, that's a big accomplishment. That you're not a commuter school, you're a resident, you've got a resident hall, and it allows those students to feel this beautiful part of the city. One of the things that we did in the Grow South that impacted you guys is we wanted to figure out how we could take everybody that touches our city, DART, the Dallas County Community College System, Parkland, the Workforce Solutions, DISD, and it worked better together in a collective impact strategy. So we took two areas. Tennell was pretty hard on me at times. There were only three in all of southern Dallas, and District 8 got two of them. One in Redbird, and one in the education corridor. And we raised private money to hire folks to come in. Didn't have city monies because that gets into politics and everybody wants their, more of their share and all that. We raised private money to do this, and we were able to create a program that helped things that we're that's still paying off. The bond program that we were able to come up with projects, that $5 million in the bond program. The integrated health clinic is a big opportunity right down the road there that we've got everybody behind, and we're going to get that started. We've got a coalition of workforce jobs available at the Redbird. We really focused on getting folks hired in job training in that area, and that changed a lot. Now, one of the big things we found, especially in this area, is really the need for infrastructure. Okay, there's several of you that want this sort of development, and you need sewer lines and you need the basics to get that done. And I know Councilman Atkins has got that high on his priority. I've talked to the city manager about it, and he has too. And we've got to figure out how we take your private money and put it with that public money together. Because we want development. We just don't want land speculation. We want real development going up. And this gets complicated, but I tell you, we have, I think, got through a lot of the problems, and we're going to be able to move forward on that. What came out of that is interesting. Some good stuff here in District 8. But as we started thinking about how we use that group said, this is powerful. Nobody in the city brings us together 4 times a year to focus on this. And how do we do something in a bigger way? And Grow South is an economic development package it was not a social services initiative, but the need for those social service initiatives are there. We have too many families that living at the poverty level. And we had to figure out how we do this as opposed to just kind of, having a few, watering the plants just a little bit. We needed to make sure that we created an infrastructure that grew that. So we created something out of this initiative called the Child Poverty Action Lab. And hopefully this will continue past my side. This is again privately funded, but it's a collective impact group of all those organizations that are part, and they meet on a quarterly basis. We have about 30% of our children in the city of Dallas are growing up in poverty. It's just way, way too high. And we were the #1 large city in America with the percentage doing that, and now we're about down to 3rd, but that's nothing to brag about. We're making progress, but this has got to be done right. We have raised money to keep this going, and our big goal, our big, hairy, audacious goal, is to cut the number of children growing up in poverty by half in 1 generation, okay? In 1 generation. We think we can do it. Here are the things we're going to focus on. Family structure and stability. We all know the importance of that. The amount of, and to give an example, the amount of teenage pregnancies in this city is way too high. We can't have babies having babies and think that we're going to get out, because that just continues to spur poverty. Safe surroundings, making sure that families have the surroundings for their kids and they're not either robbed going to school, or they've got an environment that is healthy for them. Education and skill training to make sure that their mothers and fathers get the jobs that are necessary and they're out there. We just need to get those folks trained. There are tens of thousands of jobs that are making $17, $50, $20 an hour, but they're not, folks are not trained, so we've got to do that. And really providing some of the basic needs for these families. Mobility, for instance, getting to work. We got too many mamas that have 2 or 3 kids, and they're working 2 jobs, and we don't have the right sort of child care. It's screwed up. And so this group is going to be focused on that, while at the same time we start focusing on economic development. I've got our city manager, T.C. Broadnex, agreeing, and our chief of police to be a major part of this going forward. And then lastly, I just wanted to tell you how proud I am of what you all have done in the Redbird area. This is a major, major investment for our city. We are spending over $25 million, okay, of city money to make sure this area is a successful mixed-use development. As Tennell said, we're not going to just redo a mall. We're going to make a community out of this that is remarkable. We're changing, we're putting the infrastructure in there because that private money has come in. So the private money is lined up, the public money comes in, and now we've got a partnership that's happening. One of the most important things that I think I did, one of the most important trips, I'm not trying to take credit, but I just remember this day. I went to New Jersey and Miss P to talk to the owners of that mall. And I just said, look, you got to do one of 2 things. You either got to start to reinvest in this thing, or you need to sell it. Because we need somebody to buy it, and we need to do some things with it. And they chose to sell it. I appreciated that, and we were able to make that transaction work. So now we own 78 acres, over 700,000 square feet of buildings. We're going to demolish the 100,000 square feet of the existing mall structure to accommodate a new street that's going to go through it. We're establishing a park in there, a 1-acre green space for families and community gatherings. We're having new businesses already there. If you haven't been to the Starbucks, you're missing something.
Yeah.
Howard Schultz was here in town. He was so proud of that Starbucks when I told him about it, because he was, he didn't even, they hadn't even told him about it. But that day of opening, there were a lot of tears all over that place, and it was so exciting. New Foot Locker, urban air trampoline. We've got a new hotel coming, a Marriott in that area, plus a lot of affordable housing and housing for the community. The total investment is estimated at over $157 million.
Wow.
So I think you can see that we have gotten serious about it. I have definitely put my political capital behind it. So has Councilman Atkins, and so have a lot of other people. And one person that's put more than political capital, but her life behind this, is Miss P. And I just want to honor you, Miss P. Would you come up here? Look, we all need a Dutch uncle, as they used to call it, or an aunt that kind of tells you, come over here, okay? That tells you how the cow ate the cabbage, okay? We just all need that, okay? I always say even Michael Jordan needs a coach, you know? I mean, and to have an individual like her in this community is a richness that I don't think we can quantify, because she becomes a soul of an area. And she's not ever out to, she's always into doing the right thing. She's not, she understands things. She's not trying to take the easy way out. She's not trying to do something too clever. She's just trying to build a community. And so it's been an honor to work for you, Ms. P, in this effort. And I just wanted to recognize you and say thank you to you.
Now, you know, this 55 days, I think he said, I'm just going to be crying every day. He knows how I feel about him, Vinay, and Adam McGoof, because they're the ones, the foot soldiers who started all this. But beside me is a young man that really speaks well of Rose South. And it started off with the mayor. I'm letting him say some things. We got 5 minutes, but they already told me. I'm not going over my 5 minutes. But I have to let you all know that Rose South is more than what you all see. Rose South is a young man here by the name of Curtis Corbin. Curtis.
Tell your story, Curtis, because it's one of my most inspirational.
Good afternoon. We're well aware that poverty and income inequality is a huge issue in the southern sector, and it's something that's a big issue with Ms. P. It's been heavy on her heart for many years. And studies have shown that the income for many of the people in the southern sector has continued to decrease, while many of the people's income in the northern sector has increased. And one of the major problems was because many of the people in the southern sector did not have access to livable wage jobs. So many times people are going to work, working 3 and 4 jobs, making $7 and $8 an hour. So we realized Ms. P came and said, son, we need to do something about that. And we realized that transportation is one of the major reasons why many of the people in the southern sector could not get to those jobs. Because a lot of those jobs are located in areas where DART does not go. Plano, Ennis, McKinney, Arlington, Grand Prairie, where the DART line stops. And so I got together with some of my friends and borrowed some of their SUVs and their minivans, and we began transporting from the Ledbetter train station, taking people to and from work to those jobs. Right now we take about 80 people a day, 7 days a week to Ennis.
That's great.
We do not deal with any jobs that's paying anything less than $15 an hour, because it's very important that we connect them with livable wage jobs. We've even got people that ride their bikes from the suburbs to where we pick up at, because people want to be a part of these livable wage jobs. People just looking for an opportunity. And one of the things we realized, transportation was just not enough. A lot of these people that we were transporting had issues that dealt with daycare, just like the mayor talked about, daycare, housing, learning from diapers. Janae Berry, people come in and do applications. We got so many people coming to the Redbird Mall, to our office. They don't know what's going on. They think all those people are coming to shop. Those people are coming to get jobs. On average, we take about 50 applications to Ennis, Texas every day. There are more people coming there than they're coming to Texas workforce because of transportation. Right. And when they come in there now, we don't just give them an application. We've got Jeanette Berry right there. There are moms that come in there that need diapers. So we're collaborating. We're helping to do that. One of the things I want to say to you, Tennell Atkins, during this whole process, at one point we had an old van. The van broke down. Tennell Atkins came, probably didn't want any recognition for it, came and invested the money to get our van fixed. And I want to thank you for that. And then the mayor came along and had Byron Harris from Channel 8 to come and do a story on us. Channel 8 did a ride-along. After that happened, Enterprise came involved. They began to give us vans. So we went from an old jalopy car to an old jalopy van to where we've got 10 vans from Enterprise. Wow, great. Hunt All just donated 6 Tahoes to what we're doing.
All right.
It's all about working together. I just want to thank you, Mayor, for your...
Well, you're the one that did the work. Now, you make yourself out to be like Mother Teresa, which is great, okay? Because I think you are. But this is a business, too.
Yes.
That's what's great about this. What do you charge them a day?
It just depends on where they're going, but that's the other thing. We were charging $20 round trip, but United Way just got involved and they just put us in that ground floor program to where we're going to be eligible for $200,000. That's going to help the curtail.
So these folks are paying him some money to get to the job and back. Okay, it creates a business for him. Right. It helps Southern Dallas. It fits a need. That's the sort of thing that happens in this town. Okay, and I'm so proud of you. And I didn't know about the United Way thing. That is just so exciting.
But it's all because of this lady, right?
Yeah, of course.
I just want to thank you for believing in me. Because a lot of people didn't know when we put this on me, I was homeless. Yeah. I was living in a car. And people, my story is, I started a transportation business with no transportation. Ooh. And I will simply tell you, that's just God. Praise God.
Praise God.
I know when to sit down. Thank you so much. Thank you. I gotta run. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Great job.
I got a question. Y'all not going to ask a question?
You're gonna give them the last one. Hold on. Okay. The one program right here, we're going to the second phase of it.
Talk about the future of Redbird and Singing Hill Center. This started with Miss P just saying, it just came out with just say amen, church open. Praise the Lord. But the key to the situation what we talk about today is so many opportunities and things that happen in District 8. They show you that people do things in District 8 and you just don't know what's going on in District 8. It's one of the largest districts in the entire city of Dallas, 56 square miles, and that's what it's about. Redbird, you talk about the future Redbird, we talk about the green space, the park right in front of Macy's. It's not just a green space there, it's but a place where we can gather there so people can go with families, with children and stuff like that. If you've ever been to Frisco, that's what you imagine Frisco there. But also we talk about trail, we talk about mixed-use development. We also talk about, Marriott Hotel coming there. We also talk about 300 apartments units. We talk about 7% affordable, 30% market rate. We talk about nice project in District 8. Those are things that will grow and make quality of life and make the city a better place to live. We talk about work, play, entertain, and live. We also try to think about where do you go have a business without transportation? You want to walk what neighborhood? Singing Hill Rec Center, we talk about that also, but the Singing Hill Rec Center will coming up in the future. We also adding a new gym to the rec center, which we did not have a gym at the rec center at that time. We also added a well senior program for the seniors, almost like a well-mad, which I don't know how many people in the well-mad over there on Camp Wilson. This is going to be another well-mad here at the Singing Hill Rec Center.
Wow.
And then what we do is it'll be 5,000 square foot. It's free. It'll be to the point that you can put your grandkids to one side and the senior go to the other side. You can play golf cards. You go to the movies. You can do all the things that you do at well-mad. It's something that we're giving back. We're talking Running Creek Trail, the Maritime AT&T Trail. Now we got another trail going to start here at UNT. And with UNT, we had a matching grant, $100,000 came from UNT, $100,000 came from them. We had another $1 million came from Wildlife, state of Texas, and we had another $1 million came from a city of Dallas. $2 million to finish that trail. Now, you be able to take the trail from UNT, go all the way down to Glendale, from Glendale, cross over Jockey to the AT&T Trail. So that's think about quality of life for students and things we need to come. Next project, this project was Centurion talking about the deal we've been going on for years and years and years and it looks like it's never going to come. But I think it's coming now. I think to the point that we are meeting together with the developer. We'll also meet with the state. We also meet with TC. Now they figure that now we think we got the train on the track. It takes a little time, you know, it takes a little time when you got a right developer, but also developer depend with money. You gotta have money. If you ain't got no money, you're a developer, how you gotta finance. There are a two-step process with that. We always look at, first thing, the process goes to the underwriter. The underwriter who look at the project and say, hey, here's my project, how we gonna pay for it, and how you gonna make sure it's work. How you gonna make sure it work? If we got tax dollars invested, how they gonna work? And that underwriter is out of New York, who do the UNC is an underwriter. Then when they go to the underwriter, then they decide how they're gonna work. Then they go to the term sheet. Then the term sheet got to find out, okay, taxpayer, we're gonna put money there. How we gonna get it funded? How we gonna get it done? How we gonna make sure if they go bankrupt, if they file bankrupt, what we gonna do? The return on investments, protect the taxpayer money. So we still going through those stages with Madonna. Hopefully, maybe another 30 days, 60 days, 90 days in underwriting right now to find out what type of project. And the project is over to the right, and those amenities they talking about, you know, restaurant, hotel, trails, swimming pool, upscale, middle class, price range for anywhere from $150,000 to $500,000 houses there. But it's not a dream. It's something come through. It's in underwriting. So in underwriting, get it back to city council. We look at it. They go to term sheet. The term sheet said, okay, now we'll get started. And that's how that process goes. Trinity Golf Course, Brian Nelson's coming back again for the second time this year. And remember, the Brian Nelson's last year when it was there, over 300,000 people showed up to the Brian Nelson for the first time. And the money they make do not go to the Brian Nelson, do not go to the golf course, go to a little school called Millennium Company. It's a little school over there off Zane. And all their proceeds go to the school, the special needs kids. And it's not go back to the pockets. It's go to the foundation, nonprofit. Transportation. We always talk about transportation. This is the last clip. Yeah. Commissioner Price, Gary Thomas, and myself, when we finished the dark rail line here and stopped here, and all those jobs we were talking about, L'Oreal, Amazon, even P&G, Federal Express, which we did not mention, DART do not go there. And the big thing is they cannot get there. They cannot get to the job. At one time, Procter & Gamble was hiring 300 people a month to keep 100. Can you imagine? Hiring 300 to keep 100 employees because they just can't get to work. So, Commissioner Price and myself, and along with Gary Thomas, we call it TMA, Transit Management Authority. And this authority, number one, is trying to get to the last mile. How do I get to that last mile? And to get to the last mile, you get to the Dart train station. When you get there, then you do your app on your phone, and they come pick you up. And you'll get there within 7 to 10 minutes. And that's how we get that last mile to those jobs. We're in a process right now of creating a large database, and that database we are trying to create is 64 different companies to find out what time do they go to work, what time they get off, so we're gonna match that time. And once we match that time, then we go to TMA, Transatlantic Authority, the Transatlantic Association should be Transatlantic Authority. It's the same type of authority they have in North Dallas. Same one they use for Plano, for Toyota, to get those people work. But it still comes through DART. So once we get that situated and get it right, now when we have employees can get to the work and get back without spending that money for transportation. As you know, if you're making $3,000 a month and you have a car note, $500 a month plus insurance plus gas, that's 30%. So you poverty, transportation poverty, and that's what it's all about. Today, like I said, a house cleaner was. This was just a presentation, appreciation, what was going on in District 8, and I thank you for coming, and God bless you.
And you got one more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Rita here?
Rita?
Yes.
Yes, she's right behind you.
Did a tribute song just for you.
Come on, Rita, come on.
Listen, that's right. And so one of the things that Ms. P, that's my mother, taught me as well as Councilman Atkins is that no matter what we're doing, no matter what our position, no matter what our status, no matter what our economic status is, no matter how much money we have, we can't do anything on our own. We need the help of everybody. We all have to work together. And, you know, I love these meetings. I came here before when they were talking about when DART was up here and all this, you know, you had a panel of people up here and they were talking about some of the other things that were going on. I was at the groundbreaking ceremony for Redbird Mall, and one thing that rang true in every event that we've had, every meeting that I've attended, was that there was a partnership between the community, the elected officials, the DPD, and our faith-based organizations. Everybody works together. And, you know, while we don't necessarily agree on every little detail, on every single thing, still, in order to get something done, we have to work together. And I especially learned that, you know, regarding Redbird Mall. You know, you have people on different sides of the spectrum. Shut it down, close it down, burn it down, whatever. Yeah. And then, you know, but you have Ms. P who was saying, no, we're not shutting this down. We are not shutting this down, and we're going to make it happen. And because, you know, she said she didn't do it. You know, she always says that. But it wasn't just her. She always says it was the help of the community. If you tell her, Ms. P, you did it, she's going to say, no, we did it. Right. We did it. And so she wanted to make sure that I did this song today. I got here so late, and I thought I got out of it.
I'll teach you.
I know, right? All right, so here we go. And y'all can help me sing this song. I'm sure everybody knows it. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Again, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand.
That's right.
We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand.